Start. India's efforts to phase out single-use plastics by 2025 are part of a larger, ambitious environmental initiative aimed at addressing the mounting crisis of plastic pollution. With one of the world's fastest growing economies and a population exceeding 1.4 billion people, India generates a substantial amount of plastic waste each year. This waste, if not properly managed, has devastating consequences for the environment, choking waterways, polluting the oceans, and threatening wildlife. Recognizing the urgency of this issue, the Indian government has taken significant steps to curb the use of single-use plastics and promote sustainable alternatives. The initiative to phase out single-use plastics was officially announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on World Environment Day in 2018. Since then, it has become a key focus area for environmental policy and public awareness campaigns. The government's commitment to eliminating single-use plastics by 2025 aligns with global efforts to tackle plastic pollution, including international agreements such as the United Nations Clean Seas Campaign. India's approach is comprehensive, targeting not only the production and consumption of plastic, but also waste management, recycling, and behavioral change among citizens. One of the major components of India's strategy is the implementation of strict regulations on the manufacture, sale, and use of single-use plastic items. In July 2022, a nationwide ban was imposed on the production and distribution of several commonly used single-use plastic products, such as plastic straws, cutlery, cups, plates, and packaging materials. These items are often discarded after single use and are difficult to recycle, contributing significantly to plastic pollution. The ban has been enforced by state pollution control boards, which are tasked with monitoring compliance and taking action against violators. Penalties for non-compliance include fines, closure of manufacturing units, and seizure of plastic stock. However, the effectiveness of these bans depends heavily on enforcement and the cooperation of various stakeholders, including businesses, local governments, and the public. The Indian government has also focused on raising awareness about the harmful impact of single-use plastics and encouraging citizens to adopt eco-friendly practices. Public awareness campaigns such as Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, India Mission have played a crucial role in educating people about the importance of reducing plastic waste and adopting sustainable alternatives. Educational institutions, NGOs, and community organizations have been actively involved in these campaigns, organizing events like plastic cleanup drives, workshops, and educational seminars. The goal is to foster a sense of environmental responsibility among citizens and motivate them to make more sustainable choices in their daily lives. Additionally, the government is promoting research and development of alternatives to single-use plastics. This includes investing in biodegradable and compostable materials made from natural resources like bamboo, jute, and banana leaves. Several Indian startups and innovators have emerged in this space, creating products such as edible cutlery, compostable packaging, and plant-based straws. The promotion of these alternatives not only helps reduce plastic waste, but also provides opportunities for economic growth and job creation in the green sector. Collaboration with the private sector is another critical aspect of India's efforts to phase out single-use plastics. The government has called upon businesses, both large and small, to adopt more sustainable practices and reduce their plastic footprint. Several corporations, especially in the food and beverage industry, have announced plans to transition to eco-friendly packaging. For example, companies like Coca-Cola India and PepsiCo have committed to using 100% recyclable or compostable materials in their packaging. Retail chains and e-commerce platforms are also being urged to minimize plastic packaging and offer sustainable alternatives to their customers. Despite these positive developments, the journey to eliminate single-use plastics in India is fraught with challenges. One of the main hurdles is the widespread use of plastic in daily life, particularly in rural and economically disadvantaged areas. Single-use plastics are often cheap, convenient, and readily available, making them difficult to replace without affordable and accessible alternatives. For many small businesses and street vendors, the cost of switching to eco-friendly materials can be prohibitive. To address this, the government is exploring subsidies and incentives for businesses that adopt sustainable practices and is working to ensure that affordable alternatives are widely available. Another challenge is the country's waste management infrastructure, which remains inadequate in many areas. While major cities like Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore have made strides in improving waste segregation and recycling, many smaller towns and rural areas still struggle with proper waste disposal. Unsegregated waste often ends up in landfills or is burned, contributing to air pollution and environmental degradation. To combat this, the government has launched initiatives like the Solid Waste Management Rules 2016, which mandate waste segregation at the source and encourage municipalities to set up efficient waste management systems. The role of Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) is also being emphasized, holding manufacturers accountable for the entire life cycle of their plastic products, including post-consumer waste management. EPR policies require producers to collect and recycle a certain percentage of their plastic waste, which incentivizes them to design products that are easier to recycle. While EPR is a promising approach, effective implementation and monitoring remain a challenge, and there is a need for greater collaboration between the government, industry, and civil society. The impact of plastic pollution on India's environment and economy cannot be overstated. Rivers like the Ganges and Yamuna are heavily polluted with plastic waste, affecting both aquatic ecosystems and human communities that rely on these water bodies for their livelihoods. The tourism industry, which is a significant contributor to India's economy, also suffers from the negative impact of plastic pollution on the country's natural landscapes. The presence of plastic waste in iconic tourist destinations like Goa, Kerala, and the Himalayan region has led to a decline in visitor satisfaction and increased cleanup costs. India's efforts to phase out single-use plastics have also gained international recognition and support. The country's leadership in environmental sustainability has been praised at global forums, and India has partnered with several international organizations to exchange best practices and technologies for plastic waste management. The success of these efforts will depend on continued political will, public participation, and the development of a robust circular economy that prioritizes recycling and waste reduction.